The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Bellingham, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38291. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first at the front of the apparatus on the angled portion of the front bumper, recessed emergency warning lights. Just inside that location on the passenger side, you'll find a front inlet. Also, dual air horns located on the right and left side of the frame rail. As we move toward the center, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the bumper extension on the passenger side, you'll find a mechanical siren. Just inside that location, there are 2 protruding tow hooks to the top of the bumper extension. These are intended for operational use, 6,000 pounds direct pull, and not are intended for towing. There are also 2 storage locations for hose located in the front bumper, along with a swivel discharge on the driver's side. As we move up to the cab, you'll find a marker turn indicator and headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is located on the inside. Just above that cluster, emergency warning light forward-facing cluster on both passenger and driver side. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the A-pillar, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. There is an additional convex downward-facing mirror just over the passenger space. Let's move up to the top roofline area where you'll find your Opticom. Just above that, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights on the brow of the apparatus, and located in the center, a forward-facing floodlight. As we move up to the roof line, you'll find your emergency warning light bar, red and white in color. Let's move around now to the driver's side of the vehicle. I'll identify a few items here, starting with the lower zone emergency warning lights. Moving now to the top of the vehicle, where you'll find the upper zone emergency warning lights. And easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are the door lock and latch combination. They are keyed, and right next to those is the grab handle for maintaining 3 points of contact for entering or exiting the cab. As we move to the top over the cab area, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Moving now toward the rear portion of the body, you'll find a side-facing scene light. As we move to the rear cab wall at the top, you'll find a water tank level indicator. Let's move to the cab, identify a few items. First, Alcoa wheel, and you'll find a visual sight gauge into the center of that axle. You'll also find the drain located here for your front discharge. And in the step wheel area, you'll find an air inlet outlet. Moving up just over the front axle, you'll find shoreline power, auto eject. Your vehicle is equipped with supplemental restraint system airbags. This is an indication as to where those airbags are located in the vehicle. As we move to the pump panel, we'll start at the top with the minimum operation maintenance schedule placard. Also a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because the line's coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Also, these are currently plugged. These are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. You'll also find the vacuum and pressure main gauges located in the center top section. There are some switches located here for scene lights, and then also an indicator indicating that your pump has been properly engaged. You'll get this green light illuminating. As we move down, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. They are located here across the top section and lower section. You'll also find the tank refill and recirculating line. Pressure throttle governor located on the far right-hand side with water tank level indicator. As we move down, you'll find an audible alarm speaker. The outer edge of this bezel does rotate to allow you to increase or decrease sound. Your vehicle is also equipped with an intake relief valve. The instructions for its operation are on the placard. Just to the right of the location is the temperature relief valve. This is automatic with an indication and also audible alarm at the very base of that module. As we move just to the right, you'll find a warning placard here. When climbing onto the vehicle or off, always face the vehicle. And as we move to the very far right, you'll find the tank to pump. Let's move down to the lower section of the pump panel, starting first with a 2.5-inch discharge. There are two electric valves also here for the passenger side and driver side main inlet, along with a fire pump primer push to prime air. For best practices, at least 1,000 RPMs while priming. As we move down, you'll also find a warning placard here that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, only after proper training. In addition, in the lower section, you'll find your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, female inlet. To the right, an additional warning placard here indicating when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle, and also a pressure hazard warning. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the right, you'll find the wattress placard indicating the type of pump that you have and pump transmission. To the right, you'll find your main pump drain, and then down at the very bottom section, you'll find your manual pump shift. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains across the very bottom. This is the wattress placard indicating the capacity of the pump, 1,500 GPM. As we move to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi, the associated GPM is on the left-hand side at test pressure, and the RPM is on the right-hand side. While at test pressure and in pump, a governed speed of 2,400 RPMs. Let's move to the body section. Just underneath that front section of the body, you'll find a foot pedal for the rewind for your reel. You'll also find air tank drains located here. There are 3 valves. As we move to the right, you'll find in front and rear of the axle, folding wheel chock storage location. D-handle gains you access into the 2 overwheel compartments for SCBA bottle storage, DEF, and fuel fill locations. Just over the rear axle, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Just to the rear of that, you'll find an emergency warning light. Let's take a look inside some of the compartments where you'll find ventilation, LED lighting, and at the very bottom in the front compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray release located on the lower right-hand side. Also toward the rear of the apparatus, when plugged into shoreline power, these outlets will become active. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find at the very top emergency warning light, brake, turn, and reverse light. As we move up, there are 3 fold-down steps for gaining access to the hose bed area. You'll also find a set of cupped switches here for hose bed and scene lights. And as we move just to the right of this location and slightly up, you'll find an emergency warning light rear facing. Just above that, you'll find a recessed rear scene light. Let's move back down to the center section where you'll find a few warning placards here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, when climbing on or off the vehicle, please face the vehicle for safety. As we look across the back, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. Located in the center, you'll find a recessed backup camera. Just to the right of the camera, you'll find some additional warning indicating entanglement hazard because the line's coming from the hose bed area. There is the possibility of entanglement. And then also never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Let's go and take a look at the upper section of the rear portion of the truck where you'll find 2 emergency warning lights. These are red in color, and also some access locations here into the hatch compartments. At the very top section, you'll find a traffic advisor. And as we move down to the D handle, this will gain you access into the ladder storage. And then moving just to the right, you'll find a rear-facing LED water tank level indicator. Let's take a look inside the ladder compartment where you'll find a 24-foot extension, 14-foot roof ladder, and long-handled tool storage. At the very top section, you'll find additional 10-foot folding and tool storage for your rubbish hook. As we move around to the body section, on the overwheel, you'll find SCBA bottle storage, and then this indicator indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle while it is running. Moving forward to the pump panel, we'll find an additional warning placard here. Once again, entanglement hazard because the line's coming from the crosslay. Also, warning, always face the vehicle while climbing on or off the vehicle. To the right, you'll find your cab lift. There are instructions for its operations for raise and lower, also some caution and danger placard information. And an additional warning here regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. The American flag Eagle Pierce is your large diameter pump inlet on the passenger side.
The next one over is going to be your large diameter discharge, and then a 2.5-inch discharge on the passenger side. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains are located across the very bottom section. Let's move to the cab section next. We do have some steps on the rear portion of the cab. Those need to be folded and closed when tilting the cab. As we move to the forward section, this is that downward facing mirror. As we move into the driver's space, you'll find a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch combination, and electric window controls at the very top section. As we move just to the right of this location by the seat or the operator seat, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, and gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, in addition with the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. Let's move to about the left knee of the operator. We'll start first with the master battery switch, quarter turn. It is the red switch. We also have some diagnostic ports here. First tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port, and display port. Across the very bottom, you'll find DPF regen, engine diagnostics, regen inhibit, and moving toward the top section, you'll find the cab locks not engaged, indicating that you need to take action, and then also a load manager. As we move further up to the very top, you'll find the start ignition switch. As we move just inside that location, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights with one switch. To the right is the headlight switch, an additional switch for panel to brighten or dim lights within the operator's preview. Let's take a look at the dash cluster. We'll start on the left side of the dash cluster where you'll find your transmission, oil, def level, and water temp. On the right hand side, you'll find the volts, fuel, front air, and rear air. Located in the center is the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information regarding your vehicle will display both above the speedometer and tachometer and below, and also in the display screen between the tachometer and speedometer in the very center section. Let's move just to the right of the steering column where you'll find the pump shift. There are instructions for its operation from road to pump and then also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, when engaging the pump, you'll need to find pump engaged and OK to pump green indicators illuminating for when exiting the cab. Just above this, you'll find the OK to engage your high idle and high idle. Directly in the center is your command zone, tremendous amount of information at your fingertips. It's a touch screen and also function button below. Please see the owner's manual for more information. To the right, windshield wiper and also push for fluid. To the right, climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Some switches below for engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high, tire chains, diff lock engaged, and also mirror heat. This is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It is the yellow diamond. To the right, Allison transmission pad, push button, digital readout, informational note to pump and drive with some caution information next to that. As we look directly overhead of the driver's position, you'll find a placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 1 inch, length 30 feet 4.5 inches, and gross vehicle weight rating, 42,000 pounds. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please update this placard. Let's move just to the right where you'll find a few switch panels, starting first with the Emergency Master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash, and a 30-second Opticom switch. Let's move just to the right to an additional switch panel. These are going to be our scene lights for front scene or front flood, driver flood, passenger flood, rear flood, driver's alley, passenger alley, and a backup alarm override. As we move all the way to the far right, you'll find the electronic siren and PA speaker module. Let's continue to move from left to right as we move to the officer side, where you'll find a digital speedometer located on the upper section, also your FireCom control module located here, and also a speaker for your main radio with an on-off switch at the very top section of that speaker. Moving just to the right on the officer dash, you'll find on the very far right a parking brake secondary activation. You'll also find in the dash area a supplemental restraint system. Your vehicle is equipped with airbags. As we move to the roof or rear portion of the truck, you'll find these yellow diamonds indicating the edge of the walking surface. In the dunnage area, forward of that is where you'll find your 2 cross lays. As we move to the dunnage itself, you'll find hose reel. In addition, with your top-mounted master stream device or monitor, it is an extend-a-gun. As we move just to the right, you'll also find an activation down in the lower front portion. As we move to the front section of the cab, you'll find this is a non-walking surface, and we've identified that with this placard indicating warning. Congratulations, Bellingham, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38291. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales associate. Thank you and congratulations.